Gregory Marsden. The billionaire host stood firm on the mansion steps, voice booming across the courtyard. $1 million right now to anyone who can calm this dog. His words hung in the tense air, like a dare wrapped in desperation. Brutus, a massive Belgian Malinois, strained against his chain, rage flashing in his eyes. Trainers had tried soldiers too. All had failed. The crowd watched, frozen in fear, no one daring to move closer. Then came a soft voice, small but clear. "Can I try?" Heads turned. A little girl, no more than 10, stood at the edge of the circle. Her hands fluttered slightly, her eyes locked onto the dog's. Everyone stared in disbelief. The snarling stopped. Gregory blinked. Who? Who let her through? Brutus was no ordinary dog. A retired military canine with a decorated but violent past. He'd seen more war zones than most soldiers. The story went that Marsden adopted Brutus after a classified incident left the dog too unstable for service. Some said it was guilt. Others claimed it was because Gregory himself felt broken, and Brutus was the only creature who matched his rage. Whatever the reason, Brutus had become infamous. Delivery men refused to approach the gates. Local animal control had been called more than once. Rumors swirled about staff quitting mid-shift after being cornered by the growling hound. But Gregory didn't care. In fact, he seemed proud of the animals. "Ferocity, the world is soft," he once said in an interview. Brutus isn't. The message was clear. Brutus couldn't be tamed. Sarah didn't notice Emily was gone until she heard a collective gasp. She turned and saw the crowd parting like a curtain, and at its center, her daughter walking toward the beast that had just threatened to maul a decorated army colonel. Her heart leapt into her throat. "Emily!" she screamed, sprinting toward the courtyard, but Gregory Marsden raised his hand. "Wait!" And for reasons she couldn't explain, Sarah stopped because Emily was still walking slowly and silently toward Brutus. Unafraid, unshaken, focused. The dog was growling, crouched, ready to pounce. And yet the little girl didn't flinch, not even a blink. The entire world held its breath. Sarah stood frozen, hand over her mouth, eyes wide with fear. A security guard started forward, but Gregory Marsden snapped, "Don't touch her." His voice was low but firm, eyes locked on the tiny figure approaching his snarling dog. No one could believe what was happening. Brutus growled louder. Teeth bared his massive body, quivering with restrained tension. The chain rattled as he jerked against it, nostrils flaring. A single lunge, and he could reach her. She was within range, but Emily didn't stop. She knelt without a word, without hesitation. She slowly lowered herself to the ground, just a few feet from him. The dog froze, unsure. No one had done that before. Everyone either ran, shouted, or stared him down like a threat. But this was different. Emily didn't speak. She didn't gesture. She simply rocked back and forth, humming a soft, tuneless melody under her breath. The growling changed. It softened. Brutus's ears twitched. He sniffed the air, unsure, lowering his body an inch. Emily kept humming, rocking. Her gaze wasn't fixed on him like a challenge. She wasn't trying to control him. She wasn't afraid. And somehow, he felt that. One paw stepped forward, then another. The tension didn't disappear, but it shifted. The dog's posture slowly moved from fight to curiosity. Gasps rose from the crowd like a slow wave. Sarah trembled, torn between rushing in and letting the moment unfold. Gregory's hand gripped the balcony rail, knuckles white. His lips parted, but no words came. Brutus stopped in front of Emily. A low whimper escaped his throat. He lowered his head toward her hand. Emily raised it gently and placed it on his massive cheek. No growl, no bark, no lunge. Just a stillness that felt almost sacred. And in that moment, everyone knew something impossible was happening. His eyes, once wild and darting, softened, locked on hers. Emily's palm stayed against his fur, and she began to hum again, a little louder this time, almost like a lullaby. Only the two of them could hear. No one dared breathe. Gregory Marsden took a step forward, eyes narrowed. "This isn't possible," he muttered more to himself than anyone else. He looked like a man witnessing magic and being terrified it might be real. Sarah stumbled forward now, tears welling, unsure whether to intervene or fall to her knees. She reached the edge of the circle and paused, heart racing. Emily turned to her and smiled, just a faint, fleeting curve of the lips, but the first smile Sarah had seen in weeks. It was as if something inside her daughter had unlocked in that moment, right alongside the beast. Emily looked back at Brutus, who now rolled onto his side, exposing his belly in the ultimate gesture of trust. The crowd gasped again, unable to believe what they were seeing. A woman in a navy blue blazer stepped forward, her voice hushed in reverence. "I'm Dr. Lin," she said, "a local vet attending the gala. That dog, he's showing complete submission. That doesn't happen, not without months of trust building." Another man, clearly military, spoke up. "I've seen that dog tear into training dummies like they were made of paper. This isn't training. This is connection." Gregory stepped closer, peering down at the girl. "Who is she?" he asked. Sarah's voice cracked as she replied, "My daughter, Emily. She's autistic." Gregory crouched, slowly watching every tiny movement between the two. The dog didn't flinch, didn't growl. He was calm, serene, at peace. "She's not trying to control him," Dr. Lin whispered. "She's just being with him, and he feels it." Gregory stared at Emily. "Do you know what you just did?" Emily didn't answer, but she looked at him, her eyes meeting his. Without fear, he felt it, a flicker of something he hadn't felt in years: respect, wonder, humility. He looked at the crowd, voice shaking. She did what no expert, no soldier, no scientist could do. She calmed the dog. No one could reach. A man in the back called out, half joking, "Does that mean she gets the million?" Gregory turned and, to everyone's shock, nodded. "Yes," he said. "She absolutely does." Sarah gasped. "Wait, I don't want your money." Gregory held up a hand. "It's not a handout. It's a promise fulfilled." He knelt beside Emily, quieter now. "And maybe something more." Brutus shifted closer to the girl, his breathing slow, his body fully relaxed for the first time in years. The days that followed were a blur of headlines, interviews, and phone calls. What happened at the Marsden estate spread like wildfire. "Autistic girl calms untamable, billionaire's dog," one headline read. Others called it a miracle. Videos from the gala, recorded by stunned guests, racked up millions of views online. Emily, who once existed quietly in the corners of rooms, had become the center of a story that touched hearts around the world. But Emily didn't care about the cameras or the buzz. She cared that Brutus was okay. Every day after the incident, Gregory invited her and Sarah back to the estate. At first, Sarah was hesitant, but when Emily tugged on her sleeve and softly whispered, "But her first word in weeks, maybe longer," Sarah broke down in tears and agreed. Brutus greeted Emily like she was family. He no longer barked or growled at strangers when she was around. He followed her, gently resting his head on her shoulder when she sat. Gregory watched them with awe, a man who would learn that not all power came from dominance. Sometimes the greatest strength was gentleness, and that was something Emily had in abundance. Gregory kept his word. The $1 million check was real, but Sarah refused to deposit it for days. Eventually, Gregory approached her with a better idea. "Let me put it into a trust for Emily," he said. "Therapy, education, support, anything she needs. And what's left when she's older, she can decide." His voice, usually sharp and commanding, was now soft. "She didn't just help my dog, she helped me." Sarah nodded, overwhelmed. "Thank you," she whispered. "From both of us." The bond between Emily and Brutus became something deeper than companionship. It was healing for her, for him, and unexpectedly for Gregory himself.